that's, I think, what most people are secretly rooting for, like in this ecosystem, whether they admit it or not. Like there's people who's like, I want to see Richard fight and I want to see him settle. And I think it's so much more nuanced than that. But it will be very interesting to see if Richard does send counsel to this thing or on the phone. And we do see that there is no court date coming. And maybe some kind of deal gets worked out. I don't know. Can you name many people that would be all that upset with that scenario? Because I think a lot of people want this to just seem like it's over, you know?
So there's a lot of different angles to this. I mean, there's so many cool stories that could stem from this. All right, so maybe the first story that stems from this is that Richard comes full character arc, and he actually does save cryptocurrency. He saves DeFi, and he goes up against the Leviathan. He goes up with his sword, his armor, and he tries to slay the dragon for everybody. And then that kind of redeems him in the eyes of all of crypto. Okay, so that's a pretty cool story. All right, what's another cool story? Okay, you know, all of us who have watched all of his videos multiple times over the years, he always references EOS, okay, and EOS settling for 20 mil. And, right. And it's almost like, okay, that was the answer to everything. So that's also a possibility. Now, what are the terms of that settlement? Well, that's all negotiable. Okay. So, you know, they have, everything that the SEC wants at the bottom of that court document. They want Richard to go away. They want, you know, PulseChain and PulseX somehow to go away, or whatever the case. It's all negotiable. So that's also something else here. The other idea here is that this was planned all along, and that's why he got the black diamond, and that's why he was flexing so hard, and his mouth was so dirty for so long with all these people on stream, and he was trying to get the attention of the SEC and bait them into court, so he could say his piece and discovery could happen. You know, one of the best things that has come out of this so far, and I've said this on a couple streams, is nowhere in that court document, after 3 or 4 years of crap that the Hexkins received, you didn't see pyramid scheme, Ponzi scheme, or scam anywhere in that court document. Right. Okay? From the most powerful regulatory agency in the world. So that's huge, and I'm looking for more wins. So either way, I'm okay, as long as, you know, Richard's going to be fine. If he's got $1 billion, you know, he's going to be fine. He's not going to go to jail over this. It's going to be a slap on the wrist. He might have to pay, like, you know, 0.5% of his net worth to get out of this. Richard's good, and as long as Hexagons and Pulse at large is good, I'm feeling fine. And whatever he thinks he should do to get there is what he'll do. I think he cares about all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think the only problem with scenario number 2 and settling this is that you still have, not that we really care, you're always going to have the haters, but them still saying, well, he just paid the fine. He's still a criminal. And I think that's kind of what he doesn't want. You know, Richard's always said, I'm in this for the glory. If you saw the documentary, he's like, man, I want to be loved. I want people to love me for making them wealthy. So I don't know. I think that's the only problem with scenario number 2.
Yeah.
Is that there's not a whole lot of clarity on whether he's doing the right thing, if this is all on the up and up, which, you know, we know it is, but the haters are going to continue to hate.
And here's dude, I'm going to tell you, dude, they're still going to say Ponzi-nomics. Yeah, there's still going to be the dumbass Bitcoiners out there. And here, all 3 of us on this stream are old enough to realize that if you want to make something in this world, you just got to go out and build it yourself. And as PulseChain increases in adoption and the infrastructure gets better and better because people are building, and there's more adoption in the Hex, and we've got news outlets that are being built around the PulseChain ecosystem, and more stuff's coming. So what's going to happen is, if you build it, they will come. Yeah. It doesn't matter what the hell they think. We're still going to crush it just like we always have. And eventually there will be kind of a tipping point. There'll be an event horizon when people dump in. And maybe in 3 or 4 years, guys, what happens, man? Green candles cause amnesia, and people are going to forget. There's going to be a holdout of the dumbass Bitcoiners that Richard hurt their feelings a while back, and they'll never forgive him, but they won't have much pull in the future, I don't think.
Yeah. And that kind of reminds me of kind of a channel. You were in Atlanta at the Blockchain Center, right?
Yes.
I heard RG3 saying that those guys were in the Pulse community and really not a part of the YouTube, family or whatever. Just kind of happened upon PulseChain, and that's what they decided to build on mostly, right?
Guys, I'll tell you something, man.
It's growing.
This is wild. So I'm giving my speech, and this guy, he's just I'm quizzing the crowd and answering questions, and I got a stack of $50 and $1 bills. Every single time somebody like participates, I throw him a $1 bill. Okay, so it's fun. We're having a good time. So there's a guy there, and I get to talking to him afterwards, and he was one of the lead guys at the MakerDAO Foundation that got into Hex at the beginning when the rest of his friends wouldn't get into it. And he was like, yeah, I love Hex. I love PulseChain. I've created my own project, but guys, he was in charge of LP for all of MakerDAO. That's what is that, $3 billion worth of assets locked up on there. So it's a small world. And yes, they're random Atlanta Blockchain Center. There's a bunch of people that really appreciate PulseChain because they're able to see what it is, man. It's great technology. It's as good or better than Ethereum 2.0, and it just is what it is. And people are going to come to this chain over Ethereum because it is so much cheaper. Yeah. And it actually truly is, at this point, more decentralized than Ethereum for a variety of reasons. So there's a lot of benefits to this.
Pretty cool. I just thought that was a cool story.
Yep. Yeah, and to touch on something you guys said a minute ago, I do think at the end of the day, because Ewok, you were talking about in this decision to fight, settle, whatever with this whole SEC thing. As much as Richard has always said like he's in it for the glory, and that whole character arc idea and everything would be great. I do think what you alluded to, Rags, that he does care about the people that are interested in and invested in his products most at this point. I think you could really see that. This might be silly to say, but I think you could see that in that snippet that they played of him at the premiere of the Highest of Stakes movie. For anybody who maybe hasn't seen Richard Hart since that isn't an OG or that hasn't seen him for 5 years, 6 years or something like that now. I think just that snippet, as short as it was the real Richard Hart, I would say. If you guys remember that clip, I don't know. I can't remember if they only played it at the Miami premiere, I think. But you could just tell, I think, that he really cared about everybody that's invested in this ecosystem, I think, in that clip. So that's what I think he cares about most. So let me skip down here to this. So,
you're muted.
Yeah, he doesn't want to see his people get wrecked. I agree. He doesn't want it.